union stalwart Bill Kelty has issued a reality check to Labor and the union movement. The former ACTU secretary has told its National Congress the hope and trust the Australian people once had in the Labor Party has retreated.
He says Labor needs to articulate its vision for the nation and tell the truth. But he says it's too easy to blame the party's leaders for its problems.
I've got to be frank. It's too easy to blame the media. Too easier to blame the playthings of politics. And there's no purpose blaming the opposition for doing what, after all, you would expect them to do, and that's to beat you. In a sense, I think we make politics just simply too hard. The truth will normally do. This is a transition in the Australian economy that for many people will be very hard.
Well, for more on this, Melissa Clark joins us now from Canberra. And Melissa, Bill Kelty didn't hold back.
He certainly didn't, and it was a message to the true believers to keep believing. He had a couple of messages there for the Labor faithful, be it the Labor faithful in the party or the Labor that has faith in the union movement. And he said, first of all, he gave them a wake-up call and said that what needs to be recognised is that and a wake-up call saying they need to not stop blaming others, that they need to stop blaming the media, they need to stop blaming the opposition and need to look at what they're doing themselves. He said they need to look back at their faith and values and what they hold. He said they need to make politics simpler, talking, as we just heard there, about the truth will normally do, and saying that sometimes they're making politics too hard for themselves, which is something of a message of spin, no doubt. And he went on to say that they need a new approach, really looking at when this. Saying that the Labor Party needs to take a new approach, saying that the way they have often made it too hard for themselves. Now, this came at the ACTU Congress, where a lot of the focus for earlier in the day had been on addressing some of the image issues and governance issues with unions within the union movement, with Dave Oliver announcing that he would be setting up an inquiry, having a former federal court judge to look in the financial dealings of the various unions. So from one part of the day where they're looking at hard-headed tackling of some of the problems plaguing the union movement, to the end of the day with Bill Kelty's call to arms for a reshaping and a rethinking of the way the Labor movement is approaching politics at the moment.
And meanwhile, the Greens are calling for even tougher measures in regards to MPs' conduct, Melissa.
There's been a lot of talk in the last few days in particular about getting a code of conduct in place for MPs. It's an issue that's been on and off the political agenda for a long time, that has been severely back on ever since the Craig Thomson issue and Peter Slipper issues had raised their heads as they have at the moment. The Greens now are going a step further, though. They're saying a code of conduct and even talk of a Parliamentary Integrity Commissioner is perhaps not enough. They're saying what you need is a National Integrity Commissioner, someone who can not only look over any issues such as what we might be seeing at the moment, but also be able to proactively provide advice to MPs and senators and other senior public officials about precisely what they can do and how they can avoid making any errors or mistakes when it comes to travel expenses and claims and those sorts of elements, because the system can be confusing and there have been pitfalls for MPs and politicians on all sides. So the Greens are now going to be pushing for an even greater level of accountability. However, they might struggle because although the government and opposition have given the idea of a code of conduct for MPs the OK, it's been very slow progress so far, so trying to push them into a step even greater than that may prove difficult.
Melissa Clark in Canberra. We'll leave it there for now.